Hello everybody and welcome to 2022. You're here listening to the Angry Sun Zone and we've got a very special Game of Our Year Award episode, or the GooYs. I'm Santo, and we got here Alex with us too.
Hello.
And we have special guest Matt.
Hello.
Not that other special guest Matt. This is a new special guest Matt.
Yeah, not Maximus, Matthachu.
Yeah, so check out his channel for some fun stuff. And we need to address something. You know, at the end of the year, you'll see a lot of these videos of just like who we lost in 2021. You know, we lost Betty White just like at the end of that year or at the beginning of this year. I can't remember.
Neither can the tabloid rags,
yes.
Some of which still say Betty White turns 100.
But we lost a valued member of this podcast. Sean is on assignment for a few months on something that he can't, so secret he can't even tell us about. So
There are only whispers.
Yeah, so we brought in Matt as the pitch hitter here, and yeah, so
you'll get to listen to my lovely voice.
Perfect. So let's get on to the awards. So if you've been listening to the podcast so far, you've probably noticed that we didn't really talk all that much about games that came out in 2021. Generally, we talked about games that came out in previous years. So our awards, because it's the Game of Our Year Awards, we're going to be talking about the games that we played this year, not necessarily games that came out this year, which is good because
the backlog can be massive.
Not only that, but it was a bad year. Everything from high-profile releases being bad on launch to games being delayed into 2022 instead of 2021 to just straight up other things. There's
a lower volume of games as well, like trying to think of the high-profile games that came out this year. I'm having trouble getting up to like 10. So, but yeah, so the pandemic still raging on, still negatively affecting game development. But let's get on with the categories. So the first category we have is Best Character. So we're gonna, list our nominations and then somehow come to a conclusion on probably three games that neither of us have played all of them. So, my nominee for Best Character is going to be Aiba from AI The Somnium Files. This is your AI eyeball companion, who is hilarious. So snarky. One of the snarkiest characters I've ever seen in a video game.
Yeah, I haven't played the game, but Santo has shared some screenshots of some quips and moments from the Somnium Files on our Twitter, and let me tell you, it's incredible. If nothing else, if you don't play that game, at least check out our Twitter and check out some of these just hilarious quips from the game.
Nice plug. And one of my favorite things about Aiba is how disregard the fact that it's an AI robot. It's a she.
Everyone knows all AI robots are she's.
They kind of are.
Cortana, the weapon.
Hey, not iRobot. iRobot was a dude and helped Will Smith to also be a robot.
I guess not Hal either.
Yeah, that's like the most the most known like AI thing from movies too. Wait, and wasn't Robin Williams in AI? Was he the robot in that or not?
No. Robin Williams wasn't an AI. He was a cyborg who slowly had his organs replaced with technology over an extremely long lifespan that kept extending because of the aforementioned organ replacements.
He was a RoboCop?
Pretty much, actually.
Well, we could just admit it. It must be with video game. If you're designing a primary AI character, it's going to be female.
Yeah, I guess it's more of a video game thing, for sure. But My favorite thing about Aiba is that the main character of the game, Date, is incredibly horny throughout the entire game. And Aiba constantly, like, keeps him in check and keeps it from not getting too crazy. Like, it's never problematic. It's just played up for goofs.
I have seen literal adult games with a less horny main character than that game.
But, like, she's hilarious. She's constantly shutting him down, like, snarking on him all the way, threatening to electrocute him if he continues. And
I guess that's the danger of having an AI that's inside of you.
yes.
Or rather, inside a mechanical component inside of you.
Yeah. But she can still literally pop out of his eye socket if she wants to.
I'm just imagining the eyeball just growing a couple of or just sprouting a couple tiny legs out of it and just walking away if it gets fed up enough.
That's pretty much what it does at one point. And as well, like, later on in the game, it gets, like, the game gets serious at a point, and her character throughout that is also really well written. So, yeah. Fantastic character. That's my nomination.
Nice. My nomination for best character is Hades. From Hades.
Self-titled.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's not the main character, but I just love the writing of Hades and the interactions between you and the main character Zagreus and Hades, because it's this very, like, broken father-son relationship, and the writing on it's so good, and the voice actor for Hades too. Like, I don't know who it was, but they killed it. That game is filled with great characters, but
I was very tempted to put a character from Hades as my nomination. It was so tough. Okay, so we've got two characters that constantly shit talk the main character. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious if you can ever get enough. Like, can you ever do well enough that Hades actually gives even a single compliment? He got neutral once. With me.
He did get neutral.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I must have done well.
Yeah, because, like, me and Alex haven't beaten the game. We haven't escaped yet. So, like, there has to be some big thing at the end with Hades that we haven't seen yet. But even without that, still good enough for the nomination.
Yeah.
For mine, I have to give it to Grimoire Weiss from Near Replicant.
Nice.
Voiced by the fantastic Liam O'Brien.
Mm-hmm. What else has Liam O'Brien done? That name sounds familiar.
Akihiko from Persona 3.
Okay, he's the goat. All right. I've been waiting for this.
Yeah, he's a floating book. He is the source of your magic. He's very snarky. He prefers that you address him by his full name of Grimoire Weiss. No shortening. Even though the main characters start calling him just Weiss or Vicey. To his dismay. Comes around over the course of the game, loosens up a little bit, but yeah, fantastic character voiced by a fantastic voice actor.
All right, so we've got an eyeball, a book, and the Lord of the Underworld. This is a tough list. All right,
an eyeball, a book, and the Lord of the Underworld walk into a bar.
Well, obviously, the Lord of the Underworld has the eye in his socket and is holding the book.
Is the book made of human skin?
No, it does have a face on it, though.
Nice. All right, so how do we pick a winner from this exalted group? I'm tempted to go with Hades because I played that game and I agree Hades is fantastic in that game. Like
he is.
He's works so well as an antagonist. And you're not even fighting him.
Yeah.
He's just there. Doing paperwork.
There's few games that have ever given me the sense of this character is so powerful that they literally don't give a shit and will never touch you. They don't even care. Like, that is some powerful energy.
Yeah.
You know,
they could end you at any moment.
Yeah. Like, he's just tired. You know, he just wants to get on with it. And he's like, fine. You wanna escape? Fine. Like, I don't care anymore.
Try.
Just whatever. Yeah. Try.
Easily top 2 father characters that just refer to their son as boy.
Yeah.
The other being Kratos, obviously.
Greek mythology. It's all about the bad dads.
Yep. See, it's a metaphor, right?
Hey, Hades, not the worst dad in Greek mythology by a long shot.
Yeah. I mean, Hades is a tough dad, but he is there.
Yeah.
Right?
He's not Zeus.
Provides a safe home. You know?
He's not Zeus, who's literally love him and leave him.
Yeah.
The next category we got.
All right, so just to confirm, we're best character, Hades.
Yep, I'm fine with Hades as the best character. Yes.
All right, nice. Also, I just want to point this out. We're including this also on a technicality as well, anyway, because Hades won Game of the Year from a Hugo Award for 2021.
That's true. They made an exception for Hades.
Yeah. They made an exception not only for the type of media, but also the year. That's how good that game is.
That's a good exception.
Yeah. All right. So, our next category, most game. So, what game did we play this year that was by far the most game? Now, there's many different interpretations you can go with this, but I am going to go with Monster Rancher 1+2 DX as most game. Because this game, you know, Hades has a ton of lore, a bunch of characters, a compelling story. Monster Rancher doesn't have that. Monster Rancher has numbers. Monster Rancher has tons and tons of numbers. Numbers and game mechanics.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I remember, like, years ago, when you first introduced me, like, kind of to Monster Rancher, because I still haven't really played it myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember first thinking, what the hell is this game? What? Nothing's happening. Why are we playing this? The character generation was cool, but the actual, like, rest of the game, I was kind of like, okay.
You just train your monsters, you watch the numbers go up, and then you fight them.
Yeah, that's literally all it is.
But there's so much of it. There's so many different monsters. There's so many different dumb mechanics. And I've got two arguments that I think will put this game over the top. One, this game has 2 games in it.
That is a strong...
That's a lot of game.
That is a lot of game.
That's 2 games for the price of 1.
Yeah. And the other argument as to why this is clearly the most game is that one of the 2 final bosses you can do in the tournament to become a master breeder, one of them is a white Suezo named Poritoka. The other is a white Mochi named Most.
Ooh.
So it's most game. It's Most's game.
It is Most's game.
Yeah, I want them to just go all in and make a Monster Rancher that comes with a vinyl player that you have to connect to the system you're playing. So you have to use vinyls to generate them.
As incredible as that would be, the technical challenge of identifying a vinyl record, like, oh no.
I mean, yeah. You have to somehow convert that to something digital.
And then you have to do, like, a sort of inexact musical comparison.
You have to shove it into whatever file it reads on the CD. Figure out that format and just, like, shove bytes into it until it works.
Yeah. Like, it would be awkward. So awkward. But it's possible. With enough sand and enough effort making it think, you could do anything.
I mean, there's a old band called Information Society, and they released a song that if you played it into your modem, it would print out something. It would print out a message for you.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I know I know
Audio hacks.
I know. Well, actually, see, I remember watching some stuff about this. How like the old telephone systems was whacked. Okay, it was whacked out.
Mhm.
Dial tones were actually not just a thing to make sound for the user. Dial tones, like the sound it produced, the frequency was actually what did the work in the electronics, which is insane to me. And yeah, I know that I've watched some videos about people like hacking the phone systems, and it's all just like this completely insane, like, oh yeah, so you know the tones do this, and so if we manipulate the audio this way, we can play an audio stream that then like gives us free phone calls. And I'm like,
Yeah.
What? Who designed that?
Is that freaking?
Freaking, yeah, phone freaking. And then later, you could like freak internet. You could freak free internet because you know the internet was also over the phone lines before phone lines were completely converted over to like actual digital technologies. And so, yeah, that like weird middle ground where you still had like an analog phone line which would support a digital signal over top of it, and you could freak it to do even more dumb things.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know where it came from, but I just have this sudden urge to listen to Freakin' You.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways, Monster Rancher 1 plus 2 DX, most game.
Monster Rancher, yeah. Okay, so for my pick for most game, I think I was thinking a little bit in the same lines of like of mechanics. Like I was thinking very like what game has enraptured me with solid mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally started playing this game this week. It's Super Auto Pets.
So you didn't start playing that game in 2021?
My God, I think you might actually be right. Too bad, it's on the list.
There we go. I started playing it in 2021, so we'll count it.
Yeah, but yeah, Super Auto Pets is very simple, but it's just like the graphics are what like the graphics are cute. The music is whatever. The sound effects are okay. I love Giraffe's name because for some reason that gets said as a word and no other animal's name gets said, which is
Giraffes are mute.
It's like
giraffes are mute. They can't make noise.
It's like how in Pokemon.
So how are you going to make a noise?
It's like in Pokemon where Pikachu's the only one that actually says its name.
Yeah.
Everything else has like a cry that's just.
Some of them still sound like they came out of a Game Boy.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Giraffe is the Pikachu of Super Auto Pets. You heard it here.
Yep.
Yeah, but the game mechanics are just so solid and they're so interesting and they keep my attention way too well. This game I've put too much time into this game already, even though I just started playing it, because the game mechanics are just it's all about combinations. It's all about combining things and making like kind of exponential growth happen through like interesting mechanics, triggering other mechanics. And that's just so good. That's so satisfying to have that work well. And that's really one of the things that I love about video games is that it's the exploration of the mechanics itself that can be so much fun. And although it's like kind of a mobile game, it doesn't matter. Like the game doesn't try and trick you into playing it. The game makes you play it because it's so well executed in terms of its mechanics that you just don't want to stop playing. You know, you have the biggest this is the biggest one more game energy of a game I've played for a while.
Totally.
One more. No, one more. No, one more.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Inside Baseball, we were streaming it the other day, and at the end of the stream, Alice was like, oh yeah, I was supposed to pick up my girlfriend like 20 minutes ago.
I mean, I let her know. I let her know I was going to be late.
Yeah. So just know that this game can eat your life.
The first thing that Santo told me about this game is that it's a dangerous game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that is what makes it the most game, is that it is dangerous to play because it is too good.
It's a good argument.
All right. My pick for most game, this is a video game-ass video game.
All right.
I like that description.
I went with Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Ooh.
Okay, yes.
A Dynasty Warriors type Zelda game where you plow through huge crowds of enemies, just obliterating them. You got a large roster of characters you can play as, each with different unique movesets, some with multiple depending on the weapon they have. You've got side objectives you can complete by collecting resources and turning them in to get upgrades for your characters or just unlock more stuff. It just you've got now this being Hyrule Warriors, this is a non-canon game, but
it's the most canon game. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you know what? It can be considered. There is time travel involved.
Mm-hmm.
I went in thinking this was going to just be, it's the events 100 years prior to Breath of the Wild. That's what I thought it was. I was not expecting time travel elements showing up. So with time travel, it can be canon, but it can also not be. Branch timeline.
Who knows?
But
I mean, the Zelda timeline already split into 3 in the official games. So
just watch Brian David Gilbert's breakdown of the Zelda timeline, and it'll explain everything for you.
I still don't understand how the Zora, a bunch of fish people, after Hyrule flooded, evolved into bird people.
that was a solid question.
Huh. I have no answers for you. Maybe they couldn't be in their structure, like structures underwater anymore because the pressure was too strong or something. Because there was more water.
I think it might.
Where'd the water come from?
I think the water wasn't right I think it was the wrong water. I think that's the canon, but it just that doesn't make sense.
It's like how our oceans are becoming more acidic and fucking everything up.
Yeah. So are the fish in the ocean just going to start evolving into birds?
Oh no, not again.
Next thing we know, we're going to have a bunch of pterodactyls flying around.
Yeah.
Listen, what if they already have?
Oh shit.
What if I told you that the ancestor of all modern birds was a fish?
Yep.
It's true. Look it up.
I mean, the ancestors of us are a fish.
Yes.
So, alright, Hyrule Warriors. I have not played the Hyrule Warriors games, but I have played a lot of the Dynasty Warriors Gundam game.
Zaku Tank!
At your house. Zaku Tank's the best.
Yeah, I've also mostly played the Dynasty Warriors Gundam games.
And, yeah, there's characters in those games, and they say a bunch of shit in battle. It's completely fucking meaningless.
Yeah, doesn't matter at all. It's definitely, again, very mechanics focused. The games are fun to play. I don't understand the story of what's happening at all. There's a bunch of people doing comms in combat, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. I don't care.
Stop bitching about the fact they have a girl's name, Camille. I don't care. Yeah, that's a good pick.
But yeah, video game ass video game.
I mean, it's the one that's got the most enemies on screen at any one time. Super Opus, you got 5. Monster Rancher, you only got 1. In Hyrule Warriors, hundreds.
And you can go from hundreds to 0 in just one attack.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So, which of these is the most game?
Which of these is the most game? I kind of wanna say the Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, Super Auto Pets. It's a lot of fun, but it is kind of flavor of the month.
Potentially. We'll see how they support it.
We'll see. Yeah. I mean, if the game continues to get updates, because it is technically in beta still, then that would be incredible. We'll see. Time will tell.
Mm-hmm. They've all got one like expansion pass of pets that basically puts you in a queue. I'm pretty sure it puts you in a queue playing against other people that have that are using that expansion. So you're only ever playing against that one set of pets.
Yeah, because that's the one thing is that the mechanics are really, really fun to learn and play around with. But at some point, it's going to get samey, especially if the meta gets stale. Because it's very much a game where, like, I think if you get good at it, there is a meta, and you kind of like you're either intentionally playing in the meta or against the meta, and then that's kind of like it becomes all this like silly stuff. Mm-hmm. So, whereas Hyrule Wars is just like, it's a bit like that whole series of Destiny Warriors games is just, they are video game as video games.
Just sit back, turn off your brain, and just plow through crowds of enemies.
Okay. I'm a little sad that Monster Rancher isn't going to get its due here, but I can see the argument for Hyrule Warriors.
I like Monster Rancher. The generating monsters thing's cool. I'm just not... I don't know. I haven't actually played it. Maybe that's the problem.
Perhaps. Okay. So, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Most game.
A video game game.
Didn't you get a bunch of DLC too?
Yes. 2.
Is it good DLC?
Some more characters, some side missions. That's about it.
Alright. Didn't they add a motorbike?
They gave Zelda a motorbike as a weapon, but they did also add the motorbike in one of the DLCs for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Wait, is this the same motorbike from Mario Kart 8?
I believe it looks like it's designed to look like a horse, right?
Yeah. Looks like a horse. It's got the Triforce on it.
It's the opponent for the modern age.
Yeah.
I wonder what kind of miles to the gallon it gets, or kilometers to the gallon it gets.
Kilometers to the carrot.
How many calamities to the carrot?
Calamities to the...
Listen, if this horse isn't a walking nightmare for the opponent, why am I even riding it?
Doesn't walk, it rolls. 2 wheels, no legs. Coolest art? I have to give that to Metroid Dread. From the moment I saw Samus's new starting design in Dread, it just looks fantastic. Probably one of Samus's best looks for me. And the backgrounds in that game are great. Enemy designs, great. I think it just... They did really good on the look of Metroid Dread.
Yeah, I mean, I still remember seeing Dread for the first time, which actually, if you want, you can watch our real-time reaction because that was recorded on our YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. When we watched that trailer, I was like really just digging that look. I think it takes the best parts of the fusion suit and kind of updates it with some of the more traditional Samus suit designs. It's a lot sleeker and like looks like actual armor
instead of flesh.
Yeah, instead of flesh, which like it was fine for Fusion. Like it made a lot of sense in the story of Fusion, why the suit looks that way.
I like the final suit in Fusion a lot better than the base suit.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like the Fusion suit served its purpose, and I'm glad to see it move on to a sleeker design. And the game looks cool, so that's good. Yeah. My nomination for best art is Hades again, because the game is phenomenally visually pleasing. Like everything about that game just looks good. The character art I want to call them sprites, but they're not sprites. They're just like portraits, I guess, would be the actual correct term. But the character portraits are just beautiful. They're beautifully made. And all of the it gives the characters tons of personality, but it also, each character has a lot of visual interest as well in their portraits. And getting away from the portraits and more into like what the actual gameplay looks like, the game seamlessly blends like two-dimensional digital art paint, like digital painting backgrounds with 3D assets in a way where I struggle to tell the difference between what is a digital painting and what is actually being rendered in the game. And it's such a good look. Like I've loved a lot of games from Supergiant, but I think Hades might be like not prettiest, but it's with there with Transistor. I saw that look on your face, Santo. Transistor's also really good. And similarly, the portraits and the game have a kind of similar idea going on in Transistor, but I'm going to be honest. I think Hades edges out Transistor even in the art.
Going back to like the character portraits, like I love how everything you need to know about that character, you can pretty much just know it just from looking at their design. Like you look at Dionysus, you know that even if you don't know about the mythology, it's like, oh, this guy parties.
Yeah.
I hard disagree, Alex.
Okay.
Apart from the character portraits was art, like top fucking tier, I don't think that Hades is actually that visually interesting to me. I think all of Supergiant's other games look far better. And it just comes down to the fact that I just don't give a shit about Greek mythology, man. I really would have just rather have seen them to do something different. Their other games, they brought a unique aesthetic to them, a unique world. Like, I've seen everybody's done Greek mythology. Big studios, small studios, Magic the Gathering, everybody's done it. So, like, just to me, like, it looks good, but it's not something that I'm going to go out and say it's one of my favorite looking games or anything like that.
That's fair, yeah. And I mean, you're right.
That's very much a personal preference, though.
No, I mean, I will admit, the portraits are incredible and the rest of the game is good, but it's not new by any means. Like, there's lots of people who have done. There's been a lot of examples of well-done Greek mythology aesthetic in games. Actually, my girlfriend was playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I actually, this is an interesting contrast because I really like what Assassin's Creed Odyssey did with the Assassin's Creed Odyssey. My God, I'm saying that too much. I really like what Assassin's Creed. I really like what Odyssey did with their
Mario or Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed.
Oh, got him.
Anyway, the Greek architecture in Assassin's Creed Odyssey is actually interesting because they went back and they clearly went to the academic literature on how Greek buildings were painted. Because I'm not sure if all our listeners know this, but Greek statues and Greek buildings were not just these empty white marble things. That's only what we see today because all the paint got worn off over the millennia. And in reality, from chemical analyses, we know that their statues were fully painted. Their buildings were painted with lots of decorative elements. And they've actually gone and used a very tasteful interpretation of, the best sort of guesses from the chemical analysis and historians and whatnot to inform a more colorful Greek architecture in Odyssey, which they notably did not do in the section of in the Elysian section, where the buildings are very the architecture is just white. Mm-hmm. And that's cool, but especially given what we now know that they weren't just pure white. Might have been interesting to see something a bit different, but
yeah, the Assassin's Creed games, one of the things that that team does pride themselves on is trying to be as like historically put you in that time frame as possible. Whereas something like Hades, where they're taking a very, they're taking an approach that's looking at it from common knowledge in a lot of ways, with interacting with all the different gods and stuff like that. It makes a lot more sense to have the, fictionalized version of Greek mythology stand out more than the like real gritty ass architecture.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's cool that they did that.
Yeah, bit of an aside.
Not the first aside we've done so far, and probably won't be the last. Okay, so my nomination for coolest art is Wargroove.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Wargroove, it's bright. And I love it. It's got just colors and stuff. And I know that they're just ripping off Advance Wars, but I don't care because they're never making a new Advance Wars. Despite they're re-releasing those old Advance Wars games and giving them way worse art, in my opinion.
They're not new though.
Yeah, they're old.
They're not slapping $80 price tag on them worth it. I don't even play those games, but.
Nintendo tax is going to be Nintendo tax. Yeah. But yeah, Wargroove is just bright and colorful. I love the text effects that they do in the story where the text gets larger, like waves around and stuff like that. That's one of my favorite things to see in any game is when they pay a lot of attention to text roles, especially in games that don't have any voice acting. And all the portraits are just like, they got so much character to them for just being, sprite art. There's all the different units have different looks between the different factions, and everything just looks like bright and cheery for this fucking war game, and yeah, it's some cool art, and the intro cinematic for Wargroove is freaking incredible.
Oh, the intro cinematic's so good. I wish that they had more cinematics like that throughout the story.
Yeah, well, making a cinematic that costs money.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to take a look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you don't play the game, just watch the intro cinematic on YouTube. It's very cool. Mm-hmm. And also, I don't think you mentioned this, the combat animations are also like very smooth. And just watching that really smooth hand-drawn pixel art, it makes me feel warm inside.
Yeah. And also in those animations, the characters, like the units are like, they're moving around a lot for their idle animations and stuff. It's a lot of animation.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing is that especially for the combat animations, I can't remember I think all units have at least 2 combat animations and the hero units have like 3 or something. Because there are multiple combat animations that it picks from when it goes into the combat sequence. So the game didn't have to do that. Advance Wars didn't do that, but they did it because part of what they were trying to do was just make like the game really nice to look at.
Yeah. So that's my pick for the coolest art. Now, picking a winner here, I think it's going to be difficult because I don't like Alex's pick.
I like his pick.
Shit. And honestly, like, I'm going to be a prick here, but I didn't like Metroid Dread's look when I first saw it. I like specifically the backgrounds. They just look weird to me for some reason. Because in a lot of side-scrolling games, you could tell like there's different background artists and foreground artists, and having everything just be 3D models in a 2D space, it's uncanny valley for me for some reason.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. It's like I realize that that's kind of what Nintendo made as a decision because they're making it and marketing it as a big budget, full price game, and I think maybe a lot of people these days feel that if it was all sprite art, that wouldn't be, quote unquote, worth it. Even though sprite art takes just as much time, if not more.
It can completely be worth it if it's still sprite art.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it depends on the game.
I think good quality sprite art's still worth it, but from a mass marketing standpoint, the executives are going to executive. So, but I do agree that it's weird to see a broken up 3D rendered environment like that. Yeah. It's a bit strange.
The one thing I'll say though is that I haven't really seen all that much of the game, and I haven't actually seen it being played on like a TV, for example. So, like if like the atmosphere of the Metroid games, which I know was like one of the main points of them, if like the art like does contribute to that in a super like important way, then I could look past my uncanny valleyness with Metroid Dread.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm kind of thinking like I'm leaning towards throwing my hat onto Wargroove though, because I was actually thinking of maybe throwing Wargroove into this category, but I just liked Hades too much. Mm. But yeah, I think Wargroove is actually exceptional given what it is. Like you can really like tell the love and care that went into that game's art in an exceptional way. Not that Hades wasn't also.
I mean, every part of Supergiant's game is like you can tell the craft that went into them. So
it's all labor of love.
Mm-hmm. So, Matt, you okay with Wargroove, or do you have anything else to say about Dread?
No, I'm fine with that.
All right. Wargroove is the coolest art that we played.
Yeah, and actually,
that we saw in 2021.
Not best art, coolest art.
Yes.
All right, so moving on, our next category is best music, and I'm gonna throw best music onto, and I'm 100% gonna be honest here. This is a nostalgia pick, but best music for me goes to Sonic Mania.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we have an unreleased video of Sonic Mania that might get published at some point. I don't know anymore. But one thing I will say is that I fucking love the music in Sonic Mania. First of all, they have some incredible remixes of older zones from games that I loved, that I played when I was 12. So obviously it's the best music ever. But they also have new zones, and the new zones also have some really just tracks that slap. Even like
Studiopolis?
Yeah, Studiopolis zone is so good. It sounds incredible. I know you didn't really like the game, but even you have to admit that that is a banger.
I will admit that is a banger. Certified.
What game was Studiopolis Zone originally from?
I think that's new for Sonic Mania.
It's new for Sonic Mania. And then they've got tracks from like Hydrocity Zone, which I love.
Hydro City.
Hydro City. Fuck.
Whatever.
Hydrocity.
That's kind of the point of the name.
Come on. It's like
Flying Bat. I'm just gonna say Flying Battery Zone.
Flying Battery Zone's in there. Yeah, that's another good one. Yeah, there's. They have. Did they have Green Hill, or did they have the other one? I think they have.
Green Hill.
Yeah.
Well, this was a fan game originally. What were they going to do? Not start off at Green Hills?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you're trying to mine Sonic for nostalgia, of course you're going to have Green Hill. Anyway, I love the music in the game, and also the other thing I want to point out is that the music actually changes as you progress through the zone, and so Act 1 sounds one way, and then in Act 2. They'll change it up and usually amp it up with a bit more instrumentation and changes, sometimes dropping some of the more relaxed bits of Act 1. And I like those little touches. And it's funny because as a game, that means that, any specific track, you'll literally only hear it for a single level. Not even a full act, only a level. Mm-hmm. Which is actually a lot of work to put into the soundtrack. So, especially when they've done like a fairly high production quality of both the remixes and new songs for that game. So I really loved the music in that game. And yes, it is because I love Sonic. I played it when I was young, actually younger than 12 as well. But I legitimately think that game is full of incredible music. Remixes for people who appreciated those games back then, as well as like new songs for the new stages that were added into it.
As a little aside, did you know that Michael Jackson actually worked on the music for 3?
Yes, I did know that.
I think that actually came up in our. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'm the one that actually likes Sonic, and I didn't know.
Never exactly credited for it, but a number of people that Michael Jackson regularly worked with were credited.
Mm-hmm. I'm very glad you said worked with.
Oh boy. Sonic Man. Yeah. As much as I absolutely despise the Sonic games, yes. That is a good pick.
The music's great. I need to finish Mania.
It's good shit. If you like Sonic.
Alright. My pick for best music is the Caligula Effect Overdose. Now, this game is so budget in so many ways. But the one thing that they did that was not budget was the music. The music in this game is incredible, and I will say it is one of my favorite soundtracks of any game. Like, I'm going hard on this one. For me, this game soundtrack, it broke down a barrier that I had, because I just have an aversion to foreign language music. So, I'll just let my white dude shine here, ignorant white man. But, like, if I can't sing along with something, like, it's more difficult for me to enjoy. I have enjoyed foreign language songs in the past, but it's very few and far between.
Yeah. That's about all I know.
I believe that's a song about Christianity or something. Like it's a song about God. No?
I don't think so. I think it's like all around the world we're together or something.
Oh, okay.
Like they made it just for that game.
And it won a Grammy, I believe.
What, really?
Yeah. But yeah, so... And I think one of the reasons why I haven't liked foreign language music in the past is that I just had no connection to it. Like, if I can't connect to the actual, said language, then I don't have any connection to it. But for me, having a connection to these songs through this game, I think is what makes me, topple that barrier for me to actually like it a hell of a lot.
Okay, you were right, actually. For some reason I thought they made it for that game, but no, it's basically the Lord's Prayer in Swahili.
There we go.
It's still a great song.
It's fantastic. But that's not the game we're talking about today. So the Caligula Effect Overdose, the music in it is tied in a really important way because of how that game's story is, where your main antagonist, one of the main antagonists is a Vocaloid. So, each boss character that you come across has their own theme. And the theme plays as an instrumental version when you're in their area. When you get into regular battles, it adds in lyrics. And when you get to the boss, it does a remix. And
I love the sound of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Like, that progression is so cool.
It kind of reminds me of a particular boss towards the end of Persona 5.
Yeah.
When the first phase of the fight, you just get the instrumental version, and then the next phase, the lyrics kicking, and oh man, Rivers in the Desert goes hard.
Oh yes. When the lyrics hit is one of the greatest moments in video games. And these remixes are done in really different styles sometimes to the song that's preceding them. You might get this power J-pop song that goes into some awesome jazz shit for the boss fight, or this butt rock song that turns into an EDM remix. Like, they did so much variation in the soundtrack, but still kept it in, like, it all still worked for the game as they presented it. And one of the best songs in the game also is very late in the game where you end up fighting two of the bosses at the same time, so they do a mashup.
Nice.
So, yeah, they were extremely inventive with the soundtrack. I have a playlist that I listen to most of the time when I'm driving of just all the like lyrical pieces from the game, and yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I can't say enough good things about it.
I'm not sure if I should give this soundtrack a listen. I feel like it would be best first experienced actually playing the game.
So, perhaps, but like you listen to you know, a lot of anime themes and like J-pop and stuff like that. So like you might just be able to appreciate it as just good ass music.
Yeah,
because the singer that they got for these songs, her voice is incredible. I think it's really good. So yeah, that game has a lot of problems, but the music is not one of them.
All right. My nomination for Best Music goes to Nier Replicant. I love the music in the Nier games. They do something that it's something weird that I really like, because these games are localized in so many different regions. It's kind of the problem you have with not having a connection to the lyrics. Mm-hmm. Where all the lyrics with the exception of the end credit songs in these games, all the lyrics in them are completely fictional. Nice. Yeah. I had a feeling that was the case when I played Automata. They're technically sung in the language of the world, of the game. Right. So it's just completely made up language for the music, and I don't know why, I really like that. Yeah, that's a fantastic choice. And it really, like, does a lot to make that game feel otherworldly. Yeah. Is the music in Replicant pretty similar to the Automata? Because that's my only frame of reference. Yeah, there's a... I mean... Not as a knock. The music in Automata was really, really good. Automata has it does have some returning tracks remixed a little bit. I think... I want to say Automata has a little more... yeah, they're pretty similar. Okay. But, yeah, they're just both absolutely fantastic soundtracks. But we're talking about Replicant here. Mm-hmm. Made by the composer Keiichi Okabe. Mm-hmm. I could list the multitude of people who worked on the Caligula Effect Overdose soundtrack, because all of those songs technically have 4 credits on them. Because it's the actual singer, the music producer who like composed the track, the in fiction in game music producer, who's the bosses are music producers in that game, and the in fiction Vocaloid singer. So trying to find some of the tracks for this game on Spotify was hell. Yeah, and the vocalist they have for the soundtrack is also she's great too. Mm-hmm. She does a great job singing in that made up language. Yeah, that's gotta be difficult. But the nice thing about that is it just, even if you don't have much of a connection to foreign music, just having it completely made up, just it's the same for everyone. Mm-hmm.
Well, the other thing about that is that it allows the music producers to really make something that works for everyone. Like, I can't imagine making a song that you're trying to have lyrics in different languages to. That sounds like a nightmare. Or otherwise, you're just picking one language for the music, and like every region gets the Japanese lyrics to the songs.
Yeah. Like I can't recall right now if Nier Replicant's end credits had like actual lyrics, but I do recall Nier Automata. On your first completion, you get the English credits. Mm-hmm. You get the English version of the song. On the second completion, you get the Japanese version, mm-hmm. And on reaching the final ending, you get a mashup that's a combination of it starts out as the 8-bit version, and then you get a mix of the English, Japanese, and some French in there.
Yep.
But what about the German?
Have you seen German words?
Mein Gamensplacken. Gamensplacken Musiken.
Nier's a good pick. I like that. Now, choosing what wins in best music is every time I've listened to a couple places like try to hash out like game of the year stuff, and best music is always the one that's like they can't come to a conclusion on because music is so subjective.
I feel like this one's especially bad because I haven't really listened. I haven't played any of the Nier games.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea what's going on with those other than maybe J-pop. And then
it's not J because it's, a crazy made up language, but it's like orchestral like Gregorian monks or something.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some stuff in that vein that I really like. I think there's something from like Made into the Abyss 2, which might be a game. I'm not sure. But there's some tracks off that I absolutely love that I have on some Spotify playlists. So it might be similar to that. But yeah, and then I haven't listened to the Caligula Effect overdose either. So I'm just in the dark.
Yeah.
And as much as I love Sonic Mania, I was fully up front. Part of that's a big nostalgia hit.
Mm-hmm. As someone who doesn't have that Sonic nostalgia, even I can agree that music's really good.
As somebody who actively dislikes Sonic, I can admit that music's pretty good. So maybe we just have to give it to Sonic.
I think that's probably it.
Okay, Sonic Mania. Best music.
So this is the
Are
problem.
any of our winning games going to have actually released in 2021? I guess most game went to
No, it didn't go to Super Offense. It went to Hyrule Wars.
With the Hyrule War. Did Hyrule Wars release this year?
No.
Okay, so Sonic Mania gets best music, and no 2021 game's going to win. It's good.
We'll see.
We'll see.
All right. The next award is the LoFi Award for chill games to relax to. And my pick for this one is going to be Donut County.
Ooh.
What? Do me a favor. What is Donut County?
You haven't heard of Donut County?
No, I have not.
Oh my god.
Okay, so Donut County is on Game Pass. It took me an hour and a half to play through, and it is a delight. It is a game where you are a raccoon. You're moving around this hole in the ground and eating up the town. This raccoon works at a donut shop, and people order donuts from him. And he takes his hole and he moves it around and starts sucking up all these different things into the abyss, and the hole gets bigger. It's reverse Katamari.
Why can't I just see this is what's going on underground in Goose Game?
It honestly has a pretty similar aesthetic to Goose Game.
Yeah. It's got that like low poly aesthetic. But it's just it's a good time. There's a lot of fun writing to it. All the stuff that you suck into the hole gets added to the Trashopedia, and all that has this little blurbs about each of the little items that you suck up, written from the perspective of a raccoon. So it's like a trash can is like the hallowed ground or whatever, and like, and you're just fucking up this town like a bad little raccoon trying to level up because you want to get a quadcopter, and you need to get to level 10 in your whole app to get the quadcopter, and it escalates, and you end up having to have an encounter with the boss raccoon, and it's just a delight, and I can recommend it to pretty much anybody because it's like it's not a challenging game. It's only an hour and a half, but it's just fun.
I'll have to check that out before my Game Pass expires, because I love Trash Pandas. I wish they weren't illegal to own here.
I've got a long and storied history with raccoons. My project group at BCIT, we would often go what one of our the people called it raccoon mode, which was fucking pull all-nighters because goddamn it, this program is killing us. This school program is killing us. And so eventually when it came time to do our project terms, me and 3 other guys were like, okay, we need to come up with a name for our group. And I was like, we're the Rack Pack because we go raccoon mode.
That's a pretty good group name.
Yeah. And a couple of those people actually went off to start doing some independent game development afterwards, and they called their studios Rakupak Studios, and they put out a couple mobile games. So shout outs to the good troopers from BCIT doing the work.
My lo-fi chill game of the year goes to Biped, which Santos played.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you've
I
played
haven't.
that, but basically,
I think I know what game it is, though.
yeah, basically it's a co-op game, and it's just like you're bright and cheery robots, and your legs move independently. Each leg's controlled by one control stick, and the mechanics are smooth but awkward.
Yes.
And basically, yeah, you have to complete like little puzzles. It's not exactly a platformer, but you are moving around platforms. You don't jump though. That's the thing. I typically associate platformers with jumping. This game has no jumping. Unless you get flung by like objects or something.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty chill game. It's not too hard unless you get into like the advanced challenges, some of which actually do get pretty frustratingly difficult. Especially because it's all about coordination between you and your partner, as well as coordination of your right thumbstick with your left thumbstick.
Yeah.
And it's a good sort of like relaxing, fun time that's also a little bit infuriating.
Yeah, that first section where we had the panels where every time somebody stepped on them, they changed colors and flipped.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was so hard.
Yeah, like it's chill once you get past the learning curve.
Yeah. And there's also a nice level.
And there's a nice level. Oh, the skating's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
The skating's like a highlight of that game.
Totally.
Because it's just so fun to skate around. I wish you could skate more. That's the thing. I really like that game, but it is a bit short. Like it feels like they could just add more levels to that game, and like it would be good. It would be worth it. It would be worth purchasing more levels for that game.
Yeah. I mean, I would say like I don't think it's too short because we played through the entire main part, and there were still like side missions to do, and I don't think it overstayed its welcome or anything like that.
That's a good point. Yeah, it didn't overstay its welcome, and it could get tiring if there was too much more. That's a good point.
Especially the fact that we played it like in one sitting.
Yeah, we played the whole thing in one sitting. It's true. Anyway,
my nomination. I actually had a little bit of trouble coming up with one for this because
that's a serious gamer.
I looked at my list of games I had completed in 2021, and this one wasn't on it because I didn't really complete it. Forza Horizon 5.
All right.
Okay.
It's just a nice. It's a racing game, and I find racing game. I don't play them too often, but they're nice to just sit back, turn off the music in the game. Just put on your own music, and just chill, drive around. Just do some races, race some friends. I just find racing games to be nice and chill, unless it's that roadster race in Project Gotham Racing 4.
Yes.
Unless it's Mario Kart, you're in first place,
yeah.
and a blue shell's coming up behind you.
Kart races are a different situation.
Yeah.
But, racing games are just nice and... I find them to be nice and chill, unless you get like a really tough race. But...
Yeah,
I tend to agree from my time. Also playing Project Gotham Racing 4. Just playing those games single player is, for something that's so, racing, like car racing, actually, a very, intense heart racing thing, they are surprisingly relaxing games.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the same. I mostly have enjoyed Burnout or the Need for Speed series. But yeah, if you're playing single player, they can be kind of just like a relaxing time. I kind of bounced off Forza 5 a little bit. I started playing it, but I just something about the control scheme. I just don't quite enjoy the driving in the game.
It's a little more. It's definitely different because I had spent some time with the crew too prior to it. It took a little bit of getting used to, but after sticking with one car, I just got the feel for that car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What I will say, though, is that my time with Forza 5, it was enjoyable, and part of the enjoyment I got was literally just not even being in the races, but just getting a car I enjoyed driving and just exploring the map, driving around, looking at the sights.
Slapping some anime girls on it.
The vinyl editor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the vinyl editor is pretty fun.
I actually got really lucky on one of the wheel spins, and I won the Skyline, which is Paul Walker's car in Fast and Furious.
Nice.
So of course I went and found a vinyl to apply that was just his car from the movie, and that's basically been the car I've stuck with since.
I made our podcast logo in the vinyl editor, and that was kind of fun. I didn't expect to be able to do that at first.
No, there's a long history of crazy vinyls in that game. You can put some lo-fi anime babes on your car, so I think that's a strong contender.
As probably the biggest anime guy here, that's a plus for me.
Oh yeah.
Just let me slap VTubers on my car.
I bet that one lo-fi girl, the one.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's a livery of her in Forza 5. There has to be.
Mm-hmm. And I think that makes Forza 5 the lo-fi.
I think it does.
To chill out and relax to.
I think it does.
Because you could probably literally slap the lo-fi girl on your car. All right.
Well, I guess going off of that, next is Best Multiplayer, and I also give that to Forza Horizon 5.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have much options for multiplayer. I mostly just play Apex, and that did not come out this year. I did not start playing that last year.
Last year, it's all the same. It's been the same year for 3 years now.
It all blurs together. The last 3 years has just been that scene from the end of Pirates of the Caribbean 3 where he's just walking down the stairs and everything's just getting shredded behind him.
Yeah.
There wasn't... The only other thing I could really, for me, that I could think of for best multiplayer would be Halo Infinite. And I like the way Infinite feels.
Halo Infinite would not win in this crowd.
But with the disgusting monetization in the shop and just, I don't know, it just doesn't have the same staying power for me as previous Halo games. I hop on here and there, play a little bit. I'm good. I'm not like just exclusively playing it like I was Halo 3 and Reach back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if I could actually reliably get into a big team battle, maybe it would be higher.
Oh yeah,
if it didn't randomly crash, maybe it would be higher.
Big team battle has been fucked for weeks, and they know, but they're on holidays.
Yeah.
And despite that, there's still big team battle challenges in rotation for the weekly challenges.
See, when I was working at EA, we had a specific team that was called the Go Live team, which was a team that we had 24-hour coverage on, where people would have the worst hours, but it enabled us to make sure that we could respond whenever there was anything that happened to the game after launch. So if people found bugs and submitted them at 2 a.m. because they're in a different time zone, there'd be somebody there who could try and replicate it and send that to the developers.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair...
EA doesn't give a fuck about people's schedules.
No. But to be fair to the developers of Halo Infinite, Big Team Battle actually worked fine at launch, and then worked fine for weeks. And
something just happened. It just broke.
Which is like pretty unusual, especially considering at launch the game had more people playing it.
I'm not giving any fairness to the developers of that game because of how fucked the Master Chief Collection's matchmaking was for how long it was.
They didn't really properly fix that until it came to PC.
Yeah, like that was fucked for so long that they should, at this point, they should be masters at checking every single little piece of why matchmaking wouldn't go right and being able to make sure it would go right.
Yeah, it's a good point. With such a high-profile failure for so long, it is kind of weird that it's happened.
We're getting a little bit
anyway
off track here, but Forza Horizon 5, sorry.
Yep. No, I mean, it's just... I've been playing a little bit here and there, just racing with some friends, just having some fun with it. But there wasn't really much other competition for me for this category.
Gotcha.
Best multiplayer. This is a bit of a late contender, but I'm gonna throw in Deep Rock Galactic. This is a game where you are a space dwarf, and you get your space dwarf bros, you drink some beers, you throw some snowballs at each other, and you go out, you mine some stuff, you maybe dig a bit deep, and hopefully you come home with the gold.
I just want to preface, we started playing this game a couple hours before midnight on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, so... Very
barely.
It just squeaks in. It just squeaks in for 2021. But I have enjoyed it. We've played a few sessions, and it's been fun. And also, more importantly, a bunch of the other multiplayer games this year were bad, like Halo Infinite.
Well, luckily, mine was a game that came out last year and is good, and that's Jackbox Party Pack 8.
Yeah.
Specifically Drawful Animate.
Yes.
Those are fucking geniuses. They added a second drawing, and that adds so much to how Drawful plays.
But they took away the erase.
There never was an erase in Drawful.
You don't need an erase.
There's an erase in like every other drawing game they jump, but not Drawful, because
commit to your mistakes.
Yes, it's supposed to be awful. You're on a fucking phone with your finger.
Yeah, it's in the name. It's awful.
Yeah, and like beyond that, I think the other games in the pack are quite solid as well.
Except for the wheel one.
Except for the Wheel of Enormous Proportions.
The Wheel of Enormous Proportions.
Let's ignore that.
It's so arbitrary.
It's an enormous disappointment.
Yeah.
It's the Wheel of Enormous Disappointment.
Mm-hmm. But you got, trying to figure out murders and shit. You've got...
Yeah, the murder mystery one's super fun.
You've got Pole Mine, which is just like figuring out like how the people around you think, which... I know sounds extremely sociopathic, but I have a lot of fun doing that.
I think the fun thing to me about Pole Mine is that they've made other games that are kind of similar to Pole Mine in the past, but they always felt like something was kind of missing. And I think Pole Mine finally packaged that format in a way that's really fun, because it really gets you just second guessing yourself over minor details.
Yeah. Like something that's so like clearly the right choice to you might not be the right choice to everybody else.
Like I remember there was
I don't know why you thought North America would win in a fight.
Against other continents based on shape alone.
If continental shape determines like how dangerous it is in a fight, you have to rank them by how dangerous they are. And
I still don't get why.
I stand by North America. Mexico is very stabby. Florida's a bit stabby too.
Florida's this little nub off to the sides, like a diseased finger or something.
Europe is unpredictable. Look at
it's
shape.
Diseased, okay? It's diseased. It does poison damage. Come on.
Why was the moon there? Why was that one of the choices?
Why didn't everybody pick it as number one?
Yeah, well, see, and that's the thing. Moon is either number one or at the bottom.
Yeah. I put it at the bottom.
I put it at number one.
I put it at the bottom because I personally just disqualified it as a continent.
Yeah. It depends on your disqualification rule. That's how you determine whether Moon is obviously the best, because it's a 3-dimensional shape versus 2-dimensional shapes.
I put Europe at the top because it looks like a biblically accurate angel.
So anyway, we're rehashing this Pole Mine argument again, just because that game is so fun.
Yeah, and there's also Job's great.
Job's good.
So yeah, it's a fantastic pack of games.
I would like my job to be to talk about Job.
Yeah, and if enough people like and subscribe and get that sick YouTube money,
apparently Twitch streamers are moving to YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's making a push. No, Facebook's also making a push.
We got to stream on every platform
at the same time. Bring Mixer back.
Mixer was the best. It had the lowest latency. It was the best platform for streaming. Fuck you, Microsoft. But yeah, like Jackbox Party Pack 8 is a fantastic arrangement of games that you can play with a lot of different people.
Yeah, Jackbox games in general are some of the best party games around, and Jackbox 8 is, I think, one of the best packs they've ever made.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it right now, it's got my vote.
Yeah. And yeah, I still my vote too. I nominated. So Jackbox Party Pack 8 is the best multiplayer of the year. I would like to point out that there's one other honorable mention that I wanted to say, which was Killing Floor 2. We did start playing that this year.
Did we?
Yes.
Yep.
I looked it up. We did.
Oh, okay.
It was very early this year, but yeah. So that was quite good too.
I played a whole lot of Killing Floor 1, and so in my mind, I'm like, I've been playing this game forever.
Maybe they'll revisit the wheel. Maybe Wheel of Enormouser proportions will be better.
Perhaps. All right. Next, I think we've got the most contentious category that we're going to discuss here. Best dog.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of video games have dogs. Sometimes you can pet them. And it's time for this category.
Yeah. I've got two options here that I'm still struggling to pick between.
I put down a few options because there was more dogs than I expected in this year's games.
None of the games I really played this year had dogs in them, at least that I could remember. I had to think outside the box a little for this one.
Okay.
I went with the Chain Chomp from Link's Awakening.
Oh, dude. That is a dog. It barks.
It barks. It's a dog.
You can't pet it, but you can take it for a walk.
You can try and pet it.
Yeah.
You can take it for a walk,
man. Though. As an aside, I fucking love Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening's so dope. I haven't played that new one because it was too expensive.
That's the one I played. I just borrowed my brother's copy.
There you go.
Same with when I played Skyward Sword this year. if it hadn't been for that I had already started Skyward Sword back on the Wii, but never finished it, I was thinking of going on a technicality and Skyward Sword HD being a different game. I was thinking of putting Groose as my best character.
Oh.
Ooh.
But that's a technicality, so I didn't go with it. But yeah, the chain jump from Link's Awakening.
Oh, that's a good boy.
Oh, man. I just want I want a shirt that's got a chain chomp that's just like the Groose is loose. Name your chain chomp Groose. Groose is a good pet name.
It really is.
I mean, like, Groose is a good character name in general, but it does sound a bit too wild for a person to have that name.
Yeah, Groose, like, that name says a lot about that character. All right, I got to pick here. I got to go with Caesar from Wargroove.
Caesar from Wargroove is also at the top of my list.
Okay. All right.
Enlighten me.
So, Caesar is a very good boy. He is a dog. He wears a helmet. And he is one of the commanders of your army.
Yeah, like all those jokes about, like, man, this management sucks. Like, a dog could do this better. The dog does do it better in that game.
And Caesar is a fantastic commander because he's got one of the best commander abilities in the game where he can give the units on the 4 tiles surrounding him an extra action after they've already moved.
I don't even play turn-based strategy games, but that sounds real good.
Yeah, I had a game where I fucked up Alex with that.
It is real good. I mean, anytime you have abilities like that, it can be really strong. And the thing is that Wargroove doesn't really have nearly as much multi-turn bullshit as some of the old Advance Wars games did.
Mm-hmm.
So it's potentially very devastating, especially because if you lose your commander, you lose the game. And Caesar can punch through what you thought was an impenetrable defense of your commander.
Yeah, because, like, Wargroove and Advance Wars can get into kind of stalemates where people are just, like, staring at each other. They know the movement ranges of all the units, and neither of them is confident that they can move forward and try and break through without also just getting destroyed. So being able to do that double movement can get you in behind their indirect units, can take out, like, tanky units and get to the more squishy glass cannon ones, or just attack their commander multiple times, or their HQ multiple times. So it's one of the most broken abilities in Advanced Wars, and it was great to see it here. Alex is showing Matt Caesar.
That is a good boy.
Yeah. And another thing, though, is that there's a bunch of side missions in the campaign for Wargroove where you're dealing with a bunch of bandits, and your commander is always Caesar. So Caesar just walks up to the bandits, starts barking at them and stuff, and the bandits, like, get increasingly frustrated that they just keep getting stalked by this dog. And, like, one of the bandits is like, oh, he's a good boy. Look at his coat is so magnificent. So it's, like, really bigging up the dog. And then eventually they're just like, they reform at the end because Caesar is such a good commander.
Caesar's such a good boy that the bandits give up their bandity ways.
Yeah, Caesar is my pick. Alex, do you have any other dogs you want to shout out?
I do want to shout out a couple other dogs. I want to shout out Cerberus from Hades.
Cerberus is most dog.
Cerberus is most dog.
He's 3 dogs in one.
3 dogs in one. He's also big and red.
And you can pet him.
Yes, that is...
Yeah, specifically one head. The other 2 don't like it.
Yeah, you can only pet a single head on Cerberus. That's right. Yeah. Hades is filled with so many, like, cool touches, and Cerberus is one of them. Mm-hmm. Another dog I was tempted to go for was Dog from Super Auto Pets, just because, and Puppy. I mean,
Puppy as well. Yeah. Puppy's very good.
Yeah, whole life stage thing going on here, but they're interesting. They can be very strong depending on how you use them, but so is Caesar. Like, Caesar's just so good. That's the thing. I was kind of thinking about this, right? And it's like, okay, you want, like, there's best dog from, like, characterization, personality, and then there's best dog from like actually good player or character or like strong ability or whatever. And Caesar is both. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. There was also a dog I can't remember the name of from a game we didn't mention yet, which is in my notes. Gunfire Reborn has a dog with a rocket launcher.
That's a good dog.
Dog with a rocket launcher. That's a beefy dog.
I need to play more Gunfire. I haven't played since like early access release, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, we were playing a bit earlier in the year.
Yeah, and I got to a point where I'm like, I'm going to wait for 1.0.
Yeah.
And then I think it has hit 1.0 and I haven't gone back to it.
I still think it's in early access.
Okay.
I think it hit 1.0. I think it hit 1.0 like a month or two ago. Yeah. Did you have any other honorable dogs?
The other one was Cerberus. So.
The other one was Cerberus. Yeah, I know. I was debating between Cerberus and Caesar as my top pick as well.
Same. So
because they're both such great dogs.
Mm-hmm. And I do like the Chain Chomp from Link's Awakening. You can give it a bow.
That's a good one.
It's very good.
That is a really good one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Gunfire Reborn is in 1.0 as of November 17th.
There we go.
Yeah. Cool multiplayer roguelike shooter. Looter shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Not good enough to apparently make any other areas of the list, though.
But still a solid game.
Again, that's the thing at least with me with early access, is that I don't play a lot of early access games because I don't want to play an unfinished game. Like, yeah. I'm not the person who would play an early access game and then go to the developer and say, oh, I think you should do this, this, and this. Even as interested as I am in game design, I'm not going to spend my time doing that. Like, that's their job, not mine.
I feel the same. Like, I'll play a little bit, but not much. I'd rather wait for 1.0 and just get the full experience.
Yeah. So what I will say, though, is that we were both humming and hawing between Cerberus and Caesar, and we both picked Caesar as our top dog.
That says a lot.
It says a lot.
I'm willing to concede to Caesar. He looks like a real good boy.
Yeah.
He came. He saw. He is the top dog.
Caesar from Order is the best dog.
Yeah. Surprisingly, not as contentious as it could have been.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. If I went Cerberus, though, then we might have had a contentious category, but maybe. we both fell in line. All right. So the next category is not necessarily an award, but kind of an exercise that I want to perform, which was, what are our New Year's resolution games? What are the games that we've been meaning to play for a really long time, but just haven't gotten around to for no particular good reason? And for me, I've got two. The first being Pyre. Like, I love Supergiant's games, even if I'm a little bit colder on Hades just for a couple things. Just because of the game it is, not the design of it. And I just haven't played Pyre yet. That's the only Supergiant game I haven't played. And I really love games that just go all in on just like characters and their development, and that's kind of what my perception of Pyre is. It's, going on this journey with these characters, learning about them, meeting them, saying goodbye to them in some cases, and just going on a journey with these characters. And also basketball.
The game is basketball.
Yeah.
So I have played a bit of it, and I didn't finish it. I got about halfway, maybe. I don't know. I entered the second stage of the game. And basically, yeah, I was really surprised because when you said, "Oh, it's like it's basketball," I was expecting, okay, but it's just going to be basketball inspired or something. But no, it's straight up basketball with like a couple tweaks.
I knew it was like a sports type game. I did not know it was just basketball.
It's pretty much basketball.
Yeah. It's really funny that was the game they made.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. It's one of maybe the best basketball game I've played. Like, basketball video game. Because it's a really good basketball game.
Does it have a multiplayer mode?
Ooh, I think it actually might.
Oh.
We'll have to look into that.
but Pyre, I'm pretty sure I own it at least 2 separate ways. I might own it 3 ways.
It's in the racial justice bundle.
I have it that way, and I straight bought it.
Yeah, I had bought it before that bundle.
Yeah.
I haven't booted it yet.
I bought it and the soundtrack on release day and haven't played it yet.
What?
Cause, dude, like, I love Transistor so much that I was just like, I'm on board with whatever these people do. So I just went for it and hadn't played it yet. And it took me a similarly long time to play through Bastion. And one of the things was just like, I had a really tough time starting to play new games. I tend to just go to games I've already played or more comfortable, repeatable experiences than start something that has a start and end. Especially because my previous living situation, I would get interrupted all the time, and I just like didn't want that to happen with something that I cared about so much.
Especially, it's kind of annoying with shorter games too. If you get interrupted all the time.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, this game's only 4 hours. I just wanted to set up time and just do it for these 4 hours. But
yeah.
My other New Year's resolution game is VA-11 Hall-A.
Ooh,
Valhalla.
Yes. That's a resolution game for me as well.
I have it on Switch. I played the first day, and then I didn't go back to it. I need to play that.
Yeah. For again, similar things I said about Pyre, that I love character-driven games. Like, not even like story-driven or plot-driven games, but character-driven. And that game is cyberpunk bartending action. And what does a bartender do but sit at 10 bar and listen to people's stories? So that
maybe next year that could potentially be coolest art award.
It's got some, from the little I've seen, it's got some cool art.
The art looks super cool.
Also, have you seen the dog?
I've not seen the dog.
I didn't know that game had a dog.
Of course it has a dog. It's an indie game. But yeah, that game, like, the concept sounds so cool. The soundtrack, from what I've heard of it, is also really, really good. Like, that game just, I feel like it, when I play it, I'm going to say it just, like, oozes personality. But obviously I haven't played it yet and haven't actually seen much of it yet.
It oozes so much personality, you can smell it.
Yeah.
Without even having played the game.
So those are my... That is an amazing dog.
Wow, I love it. It's like...
He's got shades and a Hawaiian shirt.
Looks like something out of Hotline Miami.
Yeah. Those are the 2 games that I'm saying here now to give myself some accountability to check out in the year 2022.
Yeah. For me, a couple games I'm definitely good. If I don't play them, something's gone horribly wrong. Is It Takes Two. I really want to play that, especially since it's a co-op game, so I'll probably be able to play it with my girlfriend, and that'll be hopefully fun. If the divorce aspect somehow goes sideways, that'll be weird. But it looks interesting. Apparently, it's really good. Made a lot of other people's lists, so I'll
one game of the year at the Game Awards.
Yeah, one game of the year. So,
and Mr. Crazy Man went up to accept his award.
Yeah, Joseph Ferris.
Yeah, so I'll try it out. And then the other game I really want to play this year is The Outer Wilds. Because that game released a while ago now, 2019, but people keep talking about how good that game is, like, online. And so I'm like, okay, I just... Seeing an indie game get buzz for multiple years is usually a sign that it's good. I slept on Transistor for way too long. And the reason I slept on Transistor for so long was because I owned Bastion and hadn't played it yet. And I was like, oh, well, I should play Bastion first.
That was my reasoning why it took me so long to play Hades, was because I wanted to play Bastion first.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, I am kind of glad I did that, because I really enjoyed Bastion when I played it, and then I played Transistor, and Transistor blew me away. It is better in every way. Nothing bad about Bastion. Bastion's still good, but...
How's the soundtrack for Bastion?
It's good. Yeah,
it's got a lot of similar vibes to the Hades with a lot of twangy acoustic guitar.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's more similar to Hades than Transistor. Although honestly, I feel like this is the thing. Bastion was a great game, and Supergiant across the board has basically just gotten better at everything. Like,
so what you're saying is Bastion is Atlas carrying the world on its back.
yeah.
And the world being the transistor.
Like the music in Bastion's good, but I like Hades better. I like Transistor better in music. I like both of those games better in the art. I like both of those games better in the characterization and writing. Like, I like Bastion, but I'm glad I played it first. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like they just got better. And I wouldn't want to go and experience... like, if I played Bastion after playing Transistor, I just would have been looking... I would have been comparing it unfavorably instead of enjoying it for what it is. So I'm glad I played Bastion first.
Mm-hmm. That it?
I think I'll throw out one more game I might want to play, but might not, is Deathloop. Mostly just because I could be interested in that game. It's kind of a time loop shooter, and that sounds cool. It looks interesting, but it's also an $80 game right now, and I'm not interested enough in it, despite the hype.
It is a little too steep of a price tag for that.
Stupid Canadian dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it seems like a roguelike without being classified as a roguelike.
It seems like, that's the other thing. It seems like a roguelike shooter, and I've already got a bunch of other roguelike shooters.
Do we have to bust out the Berlin interpretation?
No. But not today. But my point is that it seems like it's similar enough to other games that I already have that I haven't played yet, even in some cases, that I'm not really... it's absolutely not worth $80 for me to experience that game right now. Mm-hmm. But if it comes down in price or something, maybe I'll play it this year, 2022. Because I don't know. A lot of outlets named it their game of the year. So clearly people either people like it or it has a very large marketing budget. I'm just not sure which.
The best equation as a gamer is time plus Steam sales.
Yeah. if people keep saying Deathloop is incredible a year from now or 2 years from now, then maybe I'll try it.
All right. For me, Bastion Empire.
There we go.
I've started Bastion a couple times. I play it for an hour or two, and then I just put it down. It's like, okay, I'm going to take a break, and then I just never go back to it for some reason. I need to just sit down and play it.
I played through Bastion in one sitting.
Yeah, I think I played through Bastion.
I recorded it. It was 6 hours long.
I think I played through Bastion in 2 sittings. It's not a long game.
But just to speak to the quality of Supergiant games, in my Steam library, I've got things organized, but it got action adventure, shooter, puzzle game, party game. But then I have a separate section just for Supergiant. They get their own section because of the quality of those games.
They get the featuring credit.
I'm not going to hold myself accountable to these, but a couple series I need to resume. Ace Attorney.
I was hoping that Alex would also have picked that, because I need somebody to talk to about these games.
I've only played the first 3. I need to play Apollo Justice and 5 and 6. Mm-hmm.
I've played the first 2.5.
Yeah.
Those first 3 games, though, are fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
But another series I need to resume, Yakuza.
Mm-hmm.
Now, next up on my list is 3. I've already played 3, though, but considering I started at 0, then played 1 and 2 after having played 3, I kind of want to just replay 3 and then just go on through the rest. But there's a lot to go through there. 3, 4, 5, 6, Like a Dragon. And then there's also 2 Judgment games now, too.
Yeah.
That is, maybe I can at least play 2 of them this year. That's a good number, I think.
You didn't mention the Yakuza zombie game, though.
I'd have to dust off my PS3 for that, though.
Oh, God. Yeah, Yakuza's like a dragon. Like, I was so excited when I got Game Pass, like the 3-month trial. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to totally play through Yakuza 7. I still haven't started it yet. And in part because I kind of wanted to play Dragon Quest 11 first, so I get the Dragon Quest references. And that game is also 1 million years long.
And then Monster Rancher came out.
And then Monster Rancher came out. I put 120 hours into it. And so it's just like, I don't think I have the time before my trial runs out. And fuck if I'm paying for a second subscription service over just Spotify.
Yeah, I think since we all subscribed around the same time, for that 3 months for $1, I think like early February it expires for all of us.
Like, fuck, man. That's not happening for me.
Now, it is very much worth it as a service if you play enough games on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a lot of games worth playing on Game Pass, actually. I was surprised because I didn't expect myself to think that it was going to be worth the $15 a month, but I think it legitimately is worth that if you play enough games on it.
Yeah.
Because it has a surprisingly wide library already.
Mm-hmm. And, well, apparently, I think Sony is now planning their own equivalent of it, I think.
Yeah. Because like they were like sort of doing it with PlayStation Plus and the free game stuff for a while, but now they're pivoting. They're pivoting to like 3 different like tiers of online service, and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and I think I saw yesterday something about a potential leak of a Nintendo variant, but I don't know how much water that one holds.
I mean, they already got. I mean, they already got the old games with the Switch Online stuff, which kind of counts as Game Pass.
Yeah,
it's just that those are old games.
Retro Game Pass
that aren't even, in some cases, like Ocarina of Time, aren't even emulated well.
Yeah, I heard the N64 one was rough, but I mean, we can say from experience, N64 emulation still rough.
Yeah, it's still
not that we know. We only play on legitimate consoles.
Legitimate hardware only.
No, we occasionally use emulators with legitimate backups. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
of course.
That's because that's what they're used for.
Sure.
Legitimate Nintendo hardware with homebrew installed.
It is legal to solder your N64 yourself with chips that you made yourself. Yes.
It's an art project.
By Banksy.
Yeah, I'm adding LEDs to my N64, guys. It needs RGB.
Everything needs RGB.
Yes.
Okay.
That's been Razer's motto for years.
Okay, honestly, transparent N64 with RGB.
They need bring back transparent consoles. I want a transparent PS5. Sony, I'm not buying a PS5 until you make a transparent version of it.
I saw a picture of a transparent lime green Xbox.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
And I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, because that's an amazing color.
Have you seen the original, what they showed off as the original Xbox when they first revealed it?
No, I don't think
it looked
so.
like an X, right?
Yeah, the big silver X.
Oh yeah, I have seen that. Oh man,
yeah, that was bad. That like points for the design team of that prototype.
Mm-hmm.
That's a terrible design for a PC. Essentially,
that looks like you would use it as the base of a coffee table and then just get like a piece of glass that you just rest on top of it.
That would be kind of an incredible setup, though.
Yeah.
All right. I see we're stalling on moving on to our last category here.
Our second to last category.
Oh, second to last.
Because we've got worst game.
Oh yeah. We also have worst game.
Now, I've got 2 here that I kind of want to nominate. The first one being Vesteria Saga 1 War of the Scions. honestly, gameplay-wise, probably not that bad of a game. But considering when it was released, how long it was in development for, and the names behind it, again, like we said on that one episode, I've seen visual novels made with visual novel engine software that look better than this. I've seen RPG Maker games that look better than this. This game is so unbearably unpolished that I just don't want to play it. Even if the gameplay seems good.
Like, I cannot believe what that game looks like. I have made games that look better than that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not joking. In high school, we had
we had stolen assets, to be fair. but animation wise, we still was able to make better sprite animations than this game has.
Yeah. Like, that game is an embarrassment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at first you said Vesteria Saga, and I was like, oh man, another game I haven't played. And then I remembered. I'm like, oh no, that was trash.
Yeah.
Was this the game that was made by the original creator of the Fire Emblem series?
Correct.
Okay.
And I mean, it looks and animates worse than the Super Nintendo Fire Emblem games.
Oh.
It's that bad. And my other nomination is Sonic Mania. Because it's a Sonic game.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't need to say any more than that.
Yeah. Okay. This might be Vesteria Saga, or it might be some random RPG Maker thing. I don't even know because it's just from like an RPG fan site, and I can't tell the difference.
I feel like that character portrait does not go with the rest of the art style of the game.
It doesn't.
That's Vesteria Saga.
Yeah. That picture doesn't do the animations justice either, in terms of how bad they are.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and also the menu systems in Vesteria Saga are a crime for a menu-based game, considering how many Fire Emblem games there have been. Again, even ones that this person that created fucking Fire Emblem has worked on before had better menus than this game. I don't understand how this game came together the way it did.
What was the last Fire Emblem game they worked on?
Fire Emblem 5, the last SNES one.
All right.
Thracia 776.
All right.
Because I've only played Awakening.
All right, Matt, here's RPG Maker.
What's the difference?
The difference is that RPG Maker looks better.
That trademark looks better. Like, fucking pre-built assets that you get in a game creation engine. That I'm talking like the fucking RPG Maker they made for the PlayStation. That's the only one I've used. Better assets.
Yeah.
Than this game that was released in, I think, 2018.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that bundle, the racial justice bundle thing, because that came with a whole bunch of random stuff.
Oh yeah.
Some of which was like free assets.
Some of which was project management software.
Yeah, that one was weird. But the free assets in that pack are better than Vesteria Saga.
Yeah.
Like, that game, I don't understand. I don't know how anyone could look at that and think this is good. The SNES games look better.
Yeah.
Like, how? Anyway, for my worst game, this is tough.
It's really you don't really play bad games, is the thing.
Yeah, I was looking at my list of games I played, and there are some games that are like okay that I've played. They're not terrible, but I don't hate them. Which is why my worst game is Halo Infinite. Specifically the multiplayer. The campaign's fine, although
it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
fine. It's nothing particularly special.
It's not offensive. It's fine. It tries to very quickly right the wrongs of the last game.
Yeah. But the multiplayer, though fun, has so many various problems that we have talked about before, and we may even talk about again in the future, because that game just bugs the shit out of me. And I think what pisses me off the most about Halo Infinite's multiplayer is that it could have been a lot better. Like, it could be so much more, and it isn't. and I don't know. I think that's what, like, sure, I could play some bad game off Steam that's low quality and just move on and be like, wow, that was like a trash game. But it hurts a lot more when you're like, man, this game just could have been excellent, and it isn't. And it's buggy, and it crashes, and the texture pop-in looks like it's from 2001, and right? And the monetization's awful, and the servers don't work, and the matchmaking's broken, and I get filled with games where I'm the single person on my team, and the playlists don't make sense. Like there's so many things with that game that just don't work. That it's really sad. It's just sad to see a game like that, where I think most of it could have been fixed if they just delayed it. But instead of delaying it, they
couldn't have delayed it any longer. That's not how business works, unfortunately.
I want to see the version that would have released a year earlier, like it was supposed to.
Yeah, it would have been rough.
It was supposed to be a launch title with the new Xbox, but Microsoft let them push it back a year, and it needed it. It still needed more time.
Yeah.
Just please do not fix players not being in the right spot during the team introduction.
Oh yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
Never fix that.
That's funny, and don't fix the tiny warthog bug either. That's hilarious.
I think they did, unfortunately.
Why would they do that?
You know what's really frustrating? Is that when I was working at EA, we had a severity scale for the bugs that we encountered. And, like, kind of a little bit of glitchy stuff in menus, that's like a C tier bug. Your online game desyncing, that's a B tier bug. Hard crash, save corruption, that's an A tier bug. You want to know what else is an A tier bug? T-posing.
Oh.
Because people, like, point out T-posing so much, and they were just, like, so embarrassed whenever that shit gets popular and people post in images, look at this new game I just bought, guys, and it's just a bunch of fucking people T-posing, that is suddenly, like, top fucking severity. Despite the fact that, in a lot of cases, it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, also,
it doesn't actually impact your gameplay in a lot of cases.
If your game...
And it's fucking cinematic.
If your game has T-posing bugs, and your game gets to the front page of Reddit because of all the T-posing bugs, that's probably good for your marketing, honestly. If anything.
Any marketing is good marketing.
Yeah.
That's not always true, but it's mostly true.
It's mostly true.
Look, if I saw an enemy Spartan grapple at me while T-posing and then just kill me, I would either be scared or laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
that would want to make me play the game more, not less.
Okay, so I think Halo Infinite actually did have a bunch of T-posing bugs, but they were smart. They changed the default pose away from a T-pose, and they changed the pose to basically the Master Chief's battle rifle animation from the box art of, like, the first Halo. You know, where he's just sort of, like, one leg in front of the other, holding the battle rifle ahead. Like, just looking straight ahead.
Yeah.
Because when the game first released, there were a bunch of videos of, like, a big team battle where every player, both enemy and ally, is just in that stupid, like, straight ahead frozen battle rifle animation, but, like, just moving forward, levitating, and stuff like that. So it actually had a bunch of T-pose issues, but they just changed the T-pose. And I think that's hilarious.
When's that pose going to be available in the shop, though?
Oh, man, yeah.
Ooh. It isn't already?
No, rotating shop. I hate rotating shops.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. Like,
But remember, they're not doing FOMO.
No FOMO.
No FOMO.
No FOMO.
I had enough FOMO from Destiny. I'm glad I'm out.
I played mobile games with less FOMO than Halo Infinite.
Yeah, we talked about Super Auto Pets, which is a mobile game, as well as being on computers, and that game, it doesn't need FOMO. I'm legitimately prepared to, like, I'm this close to spending actual money in that game on microtransactions just because I love that game.
What are the micros in Super Auto Pets?
Well, there's only one, and it's not a microtransaction, in my opinion.
No, there are backgrounds that you can buy.
Oh, right, you can buy
And
backgrounds.
hats.
So yeah, you can buy backgrounds and hats for your pets, of course. But
You can also...
or most of those you can earn by just playing the game.
Most of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the... and then there's also... You can buy
the pet pack.
the other pet pack, which, I might do.
Whereas in Infinite, there is literally practically nothing you can earn from just playing the game.
Yeah.
That game is going to get, as it exists now, it's going to get $10 from me at most. And that's once I get to the tier in the Battle Pass where I've gotten all the ODST armor.
Listen, I bought Game Pass for $1.
That's all it's getting from me.
That's all that Halo Infinite's getting from me.
I might buy Game Pass for a month in the future to play that campaign co-op. Maybe. And that's only because they didn't release it with co-op campaign because they're idiots and made an open world game, but...
Yeah, if I can just drop $10, have the ODST armor, I'll be happy with how my Spartan looks, and I can just play when I feel like it.
So, Matt, worst game?
This one might get me some hate. I don't think from you guys.
Oh, okay.
But I know there are people who love this game.
That's fine. We hate those people.
Super Mario Sunshine.
What?
Super Mario, I think I've told this to Alex before, but I got Super Mario Sunshine for Christmas and returned it.
Okay, first of all, you only just played Super Mario Sunshine last year?
It was in the All-Stars, 3D
It
All-Stars
is the
pack.
3D All-Stars pack. I missed out on the GameCube. I didn't have a GameCube.
Okay.
So it was new to me. I did not care for Sunshine at all. Flood is just, it's too divisive. The best parts of that game were the platforming segments where Flood gets taken away from you. And they're challenging, but they're fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's... Even the people who like Super Mario Sunshine, like myself, also agree that those are the best parts of that game. And they are very fun. Which is, of course, why they tried to, just make it... All of that in Galaxy 2.
Also, a large percentage of the shines being locked behind the blue coins. Not fun. Just trying to find all those blue coins to buy the shines.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I did not 100% Super Mario Sunshine, and I think of all of the Mario... Definitely all the 3D Mario platformers, it's the only one I've played that I haven't 100%ed, which is...
Well, honestly, it's probably my worst game of the year because I 100%ed it.
Oh,
yeah.
boy. Yeah, that's
honestly, you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I liked Super Mario Sunshine, but I kind of let it have its welcome, and then when it got to be the padding, I just stopped playing it. And I'll admit, it's pretty different than all of the other Mario games, and so that's why it gets a lot of hate. But I kind of like it. But I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I have zero interest in ever playing that game. Like I said, I returned it when I got given to me for Christmas, without playing it, mind you. I didn't play it. I didn't touch it. I just I'd rather have something else.
Yeah. Okay. I'm personally kind of leaning towards that Vesteria Saga game because it's
so rough.
It's I don't even need to play it. I just need to look at it and be like, how did this get made?
Yeah.
I don't.
And again, I haven't even shown you it in motion. It looks really bad in motion.
Yeah. That is a complete embarrassment.
Before that game, I considered myself one of those people that, could rise up above, graphics. Graphics don't really matter all that much. It's the gameplay that matters. It's the story. I don't care that much about the technique, how it looks and stuff like that. A game doesn't have to look incredible for it to be incredible. And I play that game, I'm like, gameplay's fine. But no, see, I can't deal with it.
I think where people get mixed up on this is that art direction matters, but technical fidelity doesn't. I can play a game that is visually super impressive and just be bored to tears, right? Like Crysis. I tried to play Crysis. The game's not actually good. It looks like at the time it looked great. It's not actually a good shooter.
I'm pretty sure most people had that same opinion though.
Yeah.
I don't actually think that's a divisive opinion.
Right, but it gets at more of the point that I'm making, which is that just because your game is technically impressive in the visual department because of like the engine and the textures and stuff like that doesn't mean that it's a fun to play game. And conversely, there are games that can be very fun because the art is matching the tone of the game somehow and adding to it in a way, even if it's not technically challenging. Like Super Auto Pets has simple, basic art, but the art works.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what that game did wrong, is that the art just doesn't work with the game.
Yeah.
Like it's not a matter of the art being technically impressive in terms of the production quality of the art. It's whether the art matches the tone that the game is trying to set and how the game actually plays, I think, or something like that.
I think the art does match
the art's just bad, though.
It's just bad.
It's so bad it's distracting.
Yeah, because, like, this game, again, it was made by the creator of the original Fire Emblem games. It does harken back to those in its mechanics a fair amount. And so I think that maybe they had the misguided notion that a lot of people do have, that going with art that looks like it was made a long time ago can add to it. I'm so sick of pixel art games that do nothing with pixel art. Like, we've gotten to the point where we can have really sick lighting effects with pixel art that look incredible, or particle effects or something like that. But holding yourself to that old aesthetic just because it's old, like, that's starting to wear on me super hard.
Yeah.
Like Shovel Knight came out.
I was just going to mention Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight came out, and as far as I'm concerned, anything released after that is, like, I don't care. Like, Shovel Knight stuck to their guns and did their thing. They were extremely, from everything I know about Shovel Knight, they were extremely faithful to the technical limitations of the NES. So, like, that's it. They did it. And everybody after that, like, fucking...
Yeah, and even...
do something better.
And even Shovel Knight, even the developers of Shovel Knight were willing to admit that they bent those rules. Like, they did not actually stick to the technical limitations of the NES.
Oh, okay.
They got really close, and they discarded a few specific limitations that were simply making the art, that were simply holding back, like, the aesthetic that they were going for.
Okay, wow, yeah, so even the people that were trying as hard as they could still were like, come on.
Yeah. Even the, like, best example of, like, a good game with a strong art direction that used the hardest possible line of using those technical limitations for creativity technically didn't even meet the mark and threw away a few. Yeah. I can't remember exactly which ones. I think they might have expanded the color palette a little bit.
I think so.
Possibly.
I think that was one of the things they did. Yeah. Because people forget just how limiting the original NES color palette was.
Play some old Mega Man games and check out that sprite flicker.
Yeah.
And also sprite limitations where you could, like, walk an enemy off screen and on screen, they'd disappear.
Yeah. There was also, like, in terms of how much stuff could have been stored in the, like, quote-unquote VRAM of a NES, they were using too many sprites and too complex of sprites to actually port, like, Shovel Knight to a NES.
I think the reason the sprites are more complex for Shovel Knight is so it maintains that look of, like, the SNES, but
the NES.
The NES,
the NES,
because those games did look a lot better on old TVs.
Yeah,
those really help with the look of the game.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of stuff about that online, but yes, pixel art looks generally, that old style of pixel art generally looks better on the medium it was designed for, effectively. But even apart from that, like, the they cut the smallest corners they could because they knew what they were working with and they knew that they needed to actually make something that is good today. So
Vesteria Saga did not do that. They had access to whatever they wanted, and they produced something that looks worse than games I've made for school projects.
Did you say it was a fairly big budget game?
No, it wasn't a big budget game,
but had a lot of time.
It was in development for a bit, for a fairly long amount of time. It had a big name behind it. I mean, at least I thought so. And they had the balls to call this Vesteria Saga 1. Like, this is the platform that you're gonna, like, set for yourself to, like, go on in the future. Like, I fucking... Your next game better look better than this.
Yeah. When you could improve the game by just randomly taking a free art pack and making it look not just better but more visually cohesive, you have a big problem.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that has to be the worst game that we played this year.
Yeah.
Because, like, Super Mario Sunshine, there's parts of Super Mario Sunshine that are good. Halo Infinite, there's parts of Halo Infinite that are good.
Yeah, despite my misgivings, I've put a surprising number of hours into Halo Infinite.
But this game, I love turn-based strategy games. I love the Fire Emblem games. I love the older Fire Emblem games. I still just couldn't.
Yeah.
Alright, Vesteria Saga 1, War of the Scions. Worst game. And now, the Big Daddy. The GooY. The game of our year. What's the best game? I have no idea how we're going to come to a conclusion on this one.
I don't either.
That's going to be part of the fun.
Yeah.
So, I am personally going to disqualify Monster Rancher 1+2 DX for myself for this, as it is a re-release.
Of a game you played the first time.
Yes. Because, like, the nostalgia still puts Monster Rancher 2 ahead of my actual game of the year. Though my actual game of the year, like, when we did our top 15 games, like, this might squeak in at close to the bottom. I love this game, and it is AI, the Somnium Files.
Really? Man, you just keep talking about this game.
It's on Game Pass. There we go.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, maybe I should try it.
I don't think I have enough time left on my subscription to play it.
If it grips you, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
But there's probably other stuff you want to get to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I just bought SMT5 today.
Oh, Jesus. I bought SMT4 and haven't played that yet.
I got to a point in SMT4 where, like, I stopped paying attention for a second, and then
You're done.
No, I kept playing. I tried, but I stopped paying attention long enough to not catch where I was supposed to go.
Ooh. Right. But yeah, AI the Somnium Files by the same director as the Zero Escape series. Absolutely incredible writing. I've talked about this game for like 20 minutes or so on a previous podcast, but it completely gripped me from start to finish. It's got such an amazing storytelling style to it, amazing visuals in a lot of different cases, pop culture references and fun wordplay all over the place. The plot gets so incredibly bananas that I really want to do like a spoiler cast for it at some point, but I'm not going to do it here. And yeah, it's an experience that was the best game I played last year. And the sequel should be coming out this year. So that'll be fun.
Very cool. Very cool. You might be able to predict my best game of the year, which is Hades.
Mm-hmm.
I love Hades. I love that game so much. The game is perfectly polished. I have not had a single thing in that game that have been like, oh, why is it like this? It should be something else. Everything in the game, much like a lot of other Supergiant releases, is exactly as it should be. And that's rare these days. You know, like we're talking about these other games even on this very episode where games just aren't polished anymore, and it's disappointing. And it's nice to see, a developer, an indie developer, granted, still just like putting the polish on, making a game release essentially in perfect condition, and with such strong everything, right? Like the music, the visuals, like the writing, like everything about that game I love. And I like roguelikes, so I actually like the game.
and it came out on early access initially, and even from... I didn't play it on early access, but from what I've seen and heard, even that was very polished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just so good. I should play more of it.
That I feel the same way. I've got to play more. I hit the credits probably a couple days before 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So it couldn't be on any of my nominations, but fantastic game.
Listen, the Hugo Awards were willing to give it a 2021 award because this game is so good, it just breaks the barrier of both genre and year for awards.
Did it technically... It did...
Sorry, it breaks the barrier of media.
It did technically come out on stuff in 2021.
That is true.
I believe
on certain platforms.
Xbox and PlayStation, I believe.
Yeah, quite a lot of 2020 games are actually incidentally 2021 releases because of the PS5.
I've debated picking it up on my Switch as well. Like I have it on Steam because it does have cross-save.
Yeah.
But I never take my Switch out of the dock anymore anyways because of Joy-Con drift. I just use it docked.
Well, you don't use it on kickstand mode?
No.
I've done that more than I thought I would.
The original kickstand, garbage. OLED kickstand, vast improvement. But I'm not dishing out money for an OLED.
Yeah. So, yeah, Hades. I feel obligated to go back to it, and I just have to get good so I can beat those stupid Theseus and the Minotaur.
Elysium is the wall.
I didn't even think that the rest of that zone was a problem. It's just the boss I can't fucking deal with right now.
They're tough.
It's a tough boss. I've been finding myself kind of optimizing my build around just getting past that boss.
Yeah, and having to play again. I just have an aversion to roguelikes and having to play the rest of that part just to get up to that boss to even try it again, to even discover what are its attack patterns and stuff. Like, it's not like Dark Souls where I can spawn at the bonfire or walk for a minute and I'm at the boss that I can try again. It's a lot more time investment until I can get to that point. And
you have to have a build that's going to be capable of doing it too.
Or I just need to get good, I said.
Or you get good. Yep.
I'm curious, what are your guys' favorite weapon types that you've tried in it?
The bow or the lance for me.
Same.
Yeah.
The bow and spear are really good.
Range attacks, baby.
Yeah, the bow and the lance are both really, really good, really fun. I also actually really like the gun. I
haven't used the gun very much.
I'm not a big fan of the gun, personally.
Okay, the gun, I was sold on the gun mainly because of some of the modifications you can get to it with the Daedalus? I don't know. But the thing that changes some of the way some of the weapons attacks function.
Yeah, we'll use the Titan blood for it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, I mean like as boons, like the hammer boons that change during your run.
Hammer boons.
The Daedalus hammer that gives you a modifier on your weapon.
Oh, right, that thing.
I love the spear one where when you throw it, it bounces between enemies.
Yeah, spear has some good ones, but the machine, the gun, the base gun, I agree, it's kind of like whatever. But if you get some modifications to the gun, it can get so good. Like, there's a modification I really like to the gun that just makes it shoot 3 grenades, and you can aim the grenades independently because they fire sequentially. And I had a run where I went all the way to Theseus and the Minotaur with the gun, and I almost defeated them with it. And it was before I had even defeated them once yet, just because I stacked a bunch of special attack boons on as well, and the special attack boons are balanced, assuming that you only get one special attack at a time, not 3.
Yeah.
So, and then it's also got some pretty cool boons for the regular like auto fire as well. So the gun is, I really like the gun, but it's you really got to get lucky.
Yeah, I don't know if I like it or not because I just haven't used it that much. You know what does suck though? I fucking hate the sword, the starting sword. I can't fight with that thing.
I like the sword.
The starting sword?
It's no bow or spear for me, but...
I hated the starting sword at first, although, interestingly, after I had gotten better with a lot of the other weapons and went back to the sword, I found myself liking it more. The problem with the sword is that you just have to be really good at using it and staying continuously in combat, because, you know, when you hit enemies, they are stunned for a little bit.
Yeah. And
the sword does have a very high attack rate.
Yeah, like, I didn't have a problem with the fists, but I just couldn't do the sword for some reason.
Yeah, it's funny because I find I'm terrible with the fists and much better with the sword.
There we go.
So I think it really just comes down to like your play style.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Hades. It's a very popular choice, but a good one.
Yeah.
All right. So my game of the year, I started this was the first game I started in 2021. And the bar was set so high, nothing else reached it that year. And Alex actually mentioned it a little earlier. Outer Wilds.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
That game is phenomenal. I probably have to say it's one of the best experiences I've ever had playing a game.
Yeah, from what I understand, you're not going to be able to say too much more about it because it is a very like narrative heavy game.
Yeah. I've not yet played the DLC, and I am really looking forward to hopping back in and playing that to hopefully get that experience all over again. So I guess, I don't know how much I should say about it because
it's in space.
Alex wants to play it.
It's in space. I want to play it. There's another game, The Outer Worlds, which I'm pretty sure is nowhere near as good. And
I did play that in 2021. It is, it's created by the people who made Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah. It's Obsidian.
It's a solid game, but it's nothing special. Like, I've played my fair share of Fallout and Elder Scrolls games,
and I don't like those games.
Nope.
I enjoyed them enough. I think most of my enjoyment came from back on the 360 when I was big on hunting achievements. Trying to replay those games on PC now, just for fun, I just don't find them grabbing me as much. I like open world, but I don't know, it has to be the right open world to just grab me.
I had more fun watching you play Fallout 3 than I did playing it myself.
Understandable.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
But yeah, The Outer Wilds.
Outer Wilds, not to be confused with Outer Worlds.
Yeah, so
Outer Wilds.
Outer Wilds, good game, worth playing. Outer Worlds,
it's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
Both of them I actually have DLC I need to go back and play, but
there you go.
What do you know about Outer Worlds?
I know that it is in space and that you visit planets. And that there is a spaceship, but that the game is not entirely in the spaceship.
The thing I know about the Outer Wilds is something that I don't want to save because of Alex. So.
Yep.
Yeah. I am mildly spoiled in that I know it has a twist. I don't know what the twist is, and I'm glad I don't know.
Okay, I know the twist.
Yeah, so I just don't want to say anymore because it's just a fantastic experience, and I was glued to that game when I started playing it. I couldn't put it down. I just kept exploring, and just trying to uncover all the bits of the story the game's trying to tell you. It's phenomenal. And the bar, nothing came close to the bar that it set for me in 2021.
Yeah, that just puts my placing it on my want to play this year even so much more higher. What on earth did I just say? That sentence was an abomination.
It's probably grammatically correct, though.
I feel like an AI just came in and wrote that sentence for me.
I told Matthachu about this game when he was in town, and I'm glad that a couple days later I saw it added to his Steam wish list. Yeah, no, that is probably one of my all-time favorite games. I don't really... It's hard for me to say, like, give, like, a numerical ordering for my favorite games, because it also, for me, it's very mood-dependent. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely in there of my my all-time favorite games.
And it's not too long, is it?
I could check how much time I have in it on Steam.
Because basically it's a single player narrative driven experience, and I don't think it's not super short, but I don't think it's terribly long either. So
I have 24 hours in it.
Yeah. That's a fair amount.
It's fair.
And I still have the DLC to play, which I've heard is also decently sized.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that wraps up.
We just have to pick a winner.
Oh, yeah. Shit. I don't know how we're going to pick a winner.
I think it has to be between your guys' games. Because I love AI the Somnium Files, but the things I love about it are, like, if I have to try and separate objectively how good the game is versus how much I like the game, and the game probably has some faults, but I just didn't really care about them because the rest of the game was just so fantastic to me. And like hearing Matt say that it's one of the best games he's ever played. That's not the only person that I've heard that take from, whose opinion I respect.
Yeah, when I say that I've been continually hearing people talk about how good the Outer Wilds is, I mean it. Like, I have heard a lot of people, and we're talking to just random people in Discords or on forums or whatever, or Twitter, everywhere. I have literally not heard a single person say anything bad about the Outer Wilds. Not one.
Yeah.
That is rare. Even Hades, we got someone right here that doesn't like Hades.
Well, okay,
or rather,
there are things I don't like about Hades.
Yeah.
Mainly, I can't handle roguelikes. I just don't like them.
Yeah. But yeah, the Outer Wilds, I mean, I haven't played it yet, but yeah, that's a high bar for you to be saying that it's one of the best games you've ever played.
I'm glad I went into it with exceedingly little knowledge about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just enhanced the experience that much more.
And then, we've got Hades, which, my misgivings aside, it's a fucking super giant game. Everything's so polished and fantastic. And
yeah,
that's worth rewarding.
Yeah, and I think something that we didn't even talk about, we've talked about Hades a few times, and I think I've never even mentioned this, is just how smooth the controls are in Hades. Everything is just buttery smooth and super responsive. And you kind of forget to even mention it because it's so good that it fades completely into the background.
Yeah, it's like it's assumed.
yeah, and that's actually, that is an achievement as well, and that is very important. There are games I have played which are in most other ways good, except something about the controls just feels off to me, and it's hard to get into the game for that reason. But the controls in Hades are really just, they nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we keep thinking of things to add on to how good the execution is in that game. So it is a tough choice.
Yeah, but Hades is a roguelike, though.
Yeah,
I'm making Maximus so mad right now.
I will say this. It does take... It takes a lot for a roguelike to really grab me. But Hades does... Like, I haven't played much since I hit credits, but I constantly, in the back of my head, I just have that, you should go play Hades. You should go play more Hades. Go play more Hades. And it's just, I need to just sit down and do some more with it. Yeah, it is a fantastic game.
We're just going to keep pumping up these two games.
Yeah.
Hades and the Outer Wilds, guys.
If we have to take it to a vote, we have an odd number of people.
Wild Hades. Yeah, we do have an odd number of people. It's true. So, are we doing it? Are we going to a vote, or are we just giving it to the Outer Wilds?
I mean, if we're going to a vote, Outer Wilds wins. So
yeah, I think we're giving it to the Outer Wilds.
All right,
because that's the thing. Matt says, "What, Matt? What did you say, Matt?"
It's one of my all-time favorite games.
Yeah.
After playing it, it just grabbed me and I could not stop.
Yeah, and then I have heard so many good things about this game that I already talked about it before we even got to this segment.
Yeah.
If there was a game I wish I could forget to experience it all over again, it would be Outer Wilds.
Now, the funny thing for me is that the answer to that question would be like 999 and Virtue's Last Reward, two games that the director of AI, the Somnium Files, worked on previously. And honestly, this game too, like, stories, man.
Yeah, I mean,
stories are pretty good.
Yeah.
As a quick little aside, there was a category I wanted, but I was the only one who had a game that fit into this category. Best game you finished in 2021 that you started in a previous year. I wanted to say Persona 5 Royal, because if I could have forgotten Persona 5 and just started at Royal, I think it would have been a better game. Because the thing that kept me from just fully... The thing that made me battle with Persona 5 Royal for a year and a half trying to finish it was that most of the stuff I was doing was stuff I'd played previously in Persona 5. There's some stuff that's been added here and there, but just redoing the stuff that I'd done before is what kept me from fully enjoying the game and just finishing it in a timely manner.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing with some of that stuff where fucking Atlas keeps putting out like re-releases of their games with extra shit in it, and sometimes stuff that changes things a fair amount.
There's a whole different ending in Royal.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a whole nother month after what was the final boss battle in Persona 5. And once I finally got there, that was fantastic to play through. I held Metroid Dread hostage until I finished Royal. Because I was like in the end game of Royal when Dread released, and I was like, no, I'm not touching Dread until I finish this.
Yeah. Makes me wish those games instead just like try and get them right the first time and then add DLC or something. Because
Yeah.
like, do I want to buy and play through Shin Megami Tensei 5? Like I mentioned, I bought Shin Megami Tensei 4. I'm pretty sure they did an updated re-release of that has different shit in it.
It was a whole different story.
There you go. It's a whole different story.
Why is that get the same number? Why
It was like a side add-on game type thing to it. I actually bought Royal twice.
Perfect.
I bought it digitally because Amazon canceled my pre-order for the collector's edition, and then they just didn't have it in stock. So I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get the collector's edition or not. So I just pre-ordered it digital, and then release day, oh, there's the collector's edition relisted on Amazon.
Fantastic. All right, so those are the games of our year, and thank you for joining us. Let's count them down again in case anybody forgot. So for best character, we had Hades from Hades.
Yep.
For most game, we had Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. For best music, Sonic Mania. For coolest art, we have Wargroove. As the LoFi award for chill games to relax to, Forza Horizon 5. Best multiplayer, Jackbox Party Pack 8. Best dog is Caesar from Wargroove. The worst game is Vesteria Saga 1 War of the Scions.
So bad.
And the game of our year, the GooY, goes to the Outer Wilds. First podcast and you fucking slammed it down, Matt.
Hell yeah.
Alright, so thank you.
Play Outer Wilds if you haven't. Go in as blind as you can.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us on this podcast. If you'd like to interact with us and tell us what some of your favorite games that you played that you think we should get around to, you can email us at angrysunzone@outlook.com. Reach out to us on Twitter at angrysunzone. And of course, watch the other stuff we have on our YouTube channel and our Twitch channel. We started streaming a little bit more regularly. I say a little bit more regularly. We started streaming a few more times recently. So,
have you actually gotten any emails yet?
You, dear listener, could be the first.
Like I said,
you could be the first to send us an email.
Like I said in a previous podcast, pretty much the only people that listen to this thing are people we know, and they tell us in person. So,
I'd just say something over Discord.
Occasionally, they send us things on Discord.
Yeah. So, again, I know other people that aren't people we know listen to this. I have the analytics to back me up. So, get in touch. We're cool. We're pretty cool people. We're not going to bite.
If you email us, you could be the lucky winner of one of our forwarded spam emails.
Yeah, I got somebody from India telling me how to improve my SEO right now. That's our podcast, and have fun in the new year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We're finally done. Oh god, now we can finish our bubble tea.
I've got one piece of coconut jelly that just does not want to come up the straw.